Friday, folks. Welcome back to the Big Dudes in the Trenches podcast. All three of us have made it yet again. Very exciting times. If you're live with us on Twitch, thank you so much for tuning in. The best way to catch us, by the way. Big Dudes in the Trenches on there. If you're not with us on Twitch, I do recommend checking out the YouTube because our conference preview series has some good visuals. Worth it. Go check out the YouTube. You can also find us on the Bloodline Entertainment Network, either on YouTube or on their website for those sweet, beautiful, gorgeous graphics. If you're listening on audio, we still appreciate you. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is number 3 of 13 FCS conference previews. We've already done all 10 of the FBS conferences, and we're just plowing right ahead. We have an all-conference team and a tier list. If you've not watched our other FCS conference previews, highly recommend it. This time is the newly renamed Colonial Athletic Association. No longer. It is now the Coastal Athletic Association. We don't have enough conferences named after coastlines, I guess. So once they expand inland yet again, it'll just get more and more confusing. I guess they already thought it was confusing because most of these teams are definitely not in the colonial America part of the country anymore. But now they're the Coastal Athletic Association. Very exciting change that happened just a couple of weeks ago. Before we talk about any of these players on this list, though, do you guys have any general thoughts about the CAA heading into the 2023?
It's nice to see that UNH is starting to get on that climb. You're starting to see more of their players sneak in here. I also enjoy seeing the hometown team of Rhode Island there as well. It's always nice to see.
URI every single time makes me think of urinary tract infection, which is not a word, but it's
why?
I don't know. Every time. I'm not kidding. It's been a problem for a couple of years now.
We'll just call them the Rams. How's that?
You should go to a doctor for that.
I should. But you said a couple of UNH guys sneaking onto this team. I don't think that's entirely fair. I think they're screaming onto the team. Max Brosmer is like awesome. Legitimately a fantastic quarterback out of New Hampshire. And a couple of really fun options on the skill positions out there as well. Dylan Loeb, I couldn't leave him off this list. Goes in the flex spot. He is.
Well, you had him on the All-American team, didn't you?
Yeah, I also had Jaden Sheridan on the All-American team, though, is the thing. Like, both of them are very good. Monmouth has a scary running back this year. Should be interesting. But on the defensive side of the ball, too, UNH is showing up with a couple of really strong defensive linemen. Dylan Ruiz was an All-American for us, but Josiah Silver is new to the All-Conference squad here, and I couldn't leave him off this list either. Very good Wildcats team up there.
I'm excited to see it.
What's extra scary is William and Mary was far and away the best team in this conference last year, and they've only got 3 players showing up on this list. Going to be a lot of turnover here.
Yeah,
UNH, they were fighting and vying for that top team in the conference spot. Their non-conference performance was not it for them last year, so they were almost an afterthought for a lot of people. I'm very interested to see how this conference does with the turnover going on at William and Mary. And I'm interested to see if Elon and Richmond can continue the success that they had last year, build off of it.
Definitely going to be worth keeping on top of. We do have two new additions to the conference this year. North Carolina A&T makes their CAA debut, along with the Campbell Camels making their CAA debut as well. Those are two
Campbell
teams.
The team that had the coach that didn't punt?
No.
Okay.
That was Presbyterian.
Oh, that's right.
The Blue Hose.
That's right. They were playing Campbell, and Campbell absolutely shit rocked him.
Yeah. That was not a long-lived experiment.
No, it was not.
Albany at this point has to be best known for producing Florida State transfer Jared Verse. Other than that, the Great Danes are here. Good for them. They do have a good long snapper. That's exciting stuff.
Good for them, man. You got to get that ball back. Ask Weaver State.
And a couple of other one-offs I think are worth mentioning. Jaron Hayek out of Villanova is the best wide receiver in this conference somehow, even though Villanova overall is not that good. And Quayshin Townsell out of Hampton, what a name. And it's a linebacker, so you know that I love him. So, although I will admit John Pius is phenomenal and the number one linebacker on this list for a reason.
Fair.
What do you say we get into this tier list with our randomly arranged teams?
Oh my God, the
randomly
rest of them
arranged
looked
teams.
like they were in alphabetical order, and this one is just all over the place.
They were definitely not in alphabetical order before, and they're definitely not now. But you might recognize a logo that did not make the all-conference team. That is Stony Brook down there. I think it's fair we start with them. And we can go ahead and jump to...
Can we just go ahead and throw Albany there too?
Yeah, that's fair. The Great Danes heading down, and better luck next year. Unfortunate for them. Maybe
I think
I
I think
can
Hampton
put
and
them
Maine
ahead.
probably end up there too.
Maine's definitely in
If
there.
we're
I love how we're doing this in reverse order. now.
Villanova, I think, is even in there, even though they have a great wide
Really?
receiver. I don't know that they. All right, if you're fighting me on that, I won't put them there. Yeah, Campbell's near the top of that, just because they have a lot of talent for some reason. They recruit seemingly very well according to all the industry ratings for players, but that doesn't come together that well usually on the field for them. So interesting to see how they do this year.
Look at that. 4 teams already knocked out. We're doing this efficiently, boys.
I can do another one if you want to keep rolling
Send
pretty
it.
quickly. I would say Towson is probably up in here.
Okay, I just gonna say the way
It's a
that
great
Stony
start.
Brook logo is cut off makes it mesh really well with whatever is to the right of it.
Yeah, it doesn't look that great with Towson.
Towson?
But
No, but like go ahead and put it just to the right of Albany real quick. Like just the way that it's shaped, I don't know. It looks like it fits to me. I don't know.
you talking about Pangea? But let's slow down
Playoffs?
a bit here. We've busted through 5 teams already. We got 10 more though, because the CAA is freaking massive, and they're adding another one for next year. But I guess let's start with Villanova. I was ready to throw them into better luck next year. Bug had some pushback. What do you think about Villanova this
They're
year?
not that bad.
I think I would put them there as well. And I mean, they're not going to be great, but they were one of the better. If you were going to put them in this list, they were probably the best out of the better luck next year teams last year, which just means there's more teams for them to beat up on and get cheap wins off this year. So it's
that's fair.
Process of elimination a little bit, but
that's fair. I don't expect a ton from them, but yeah, I guess looking at this list, there are some teams in the conference that can definitely pull out some wins against. And we have seen them do very well. I remember them being pretty close to getting in the top 25 at one point last year and then falling off again. So it's like Villanova is one of those teams where it's like you can find some good there if you're looking for it. But let's talk about Delaware. Delaware did make the playoffs last year, but it was definitely a down year compared to what they were doing for a good while. Delaware was one of the better teams in all of the FCS for a time there.
Mm-hmm.
I got to say, I don't trust Delaware at this point. Like, I don't think
they should have made the playoffs last year.
Yeah, I don't know that they have upper echelon talent in the conference at really any position group. Like, to me, this is a tough out this year now.
And that's kind of where I was leaning with them based on the recent trend and lack of, like you said, lack of that real true flash upside ceiling.
which does feel crazy to me. We're talking about the Delaware Blue Hens here. And
Ebbs and
putting them-
flows, man. It's college football. Ebbs and flows.
Yeah. I think the same is probably true of Elon, even though I think they also made the playoffs last year.
They did.
They did.
And I don't expect them to do that again. Personally, I also didn't expect them to do it last year, but
Yeah, I think last year was a little bit of a flash in the pan. But they've got a favorable schedule, I would say. I would say they have a more favorable schedule that might work out in their favor to be potentially in a really good category. So I would almost put them at the top of the tough outs, potentially in the bottom of that really good category.
I can justify at the top of the tough outs. I don't know that I trust Elon enough to put him in a really good, even at the bottom of it. Just me. Just me and Tug.
The Muskrats.
All right.
The Elon Musks.
That's enough out of y'all. It's the Elon Phoenix, and we're not entertaining this tomfoolery.
Then why do you have us on the show?
Good question. Let's move to let's move on to the Hampton Pirates.
They're not that bad.
This is tough.
They're going to end up in that same conversation as Villanova, honestly.
It feels very much like a better luck next year team to me, but I can see them beating some of these Stony Brook, Albany.
Okay, but
Nelson.
But Hampton versus Nova, who wins?
I would take Nova.
Okay, so then Nova stays at the top.
I would also
just want to make sure
Nova.
we're on the same page. Okay.
Yeah. William and Mary goes in the playoff contenders for me. I do think they're still really good.
Perennially
I guess there is a discussion worth having. Like, we knocked Sacramento State down for some turnover. For me, that was more about losing the head coach, though, and William and Mary didn't lose their head coach.
I'm okay with them at the back end of the playoff contenders here. I think we're debating one or two spots. So basically, in this conference, are they gonna be 2 or 3 in the conference? I would probably lean towards them being closer to that 3-4 spot. So yeah, I'd be putting them in really good.
That's what I think as well. I think it's going to be more of a rebuilding year. You can call it retooling, recharging, whatever you want to do. I just don't think they have what it takes to really be a playoff contender this year.
I think what we do know about William and Mary this year, they are going to have a really good defense again. Really good. But they lose the pieces that made that running game so effective last year.
Yeah.
Like those guys are gone, which means this is not the same team. It's just they need to find a new offensive identity, and they can do that. I kind of actually have faith in them that they will be able to do that. But yeah, I can see really good.
Honestly, this is one of the conferences where, based off of what I had said to you guys in the last preview of, hey, do these guys get numbers next to the name of the playoffs? We might only have one playoff contender out of this conference based on my way of doing the ranking.
Yeah, I could definitely see Monmouth at the top of really good.
Yeah.
I would agree with that as well.
Well, let's just put them in
there.
The question for me is, do they go in front of William and Mary or behind William and Mary? And my question with that is based on, do I trust Monmouth's defense? Like, it's the same question, honestly, for both teams. One side of the ball is awesome, and the other side is a bit of a question mark.
And it's strength against strength.
Yeah.
So again, I'll pose the question this way: William and Mary versus Monmouth. Who you guys taking?
Dude, I have no idea.
Monmouth.
I'd
in a regular season game, Monmouth all day.
All right.
If that running back Doug is really as good as you said.
Yeah, I do think he is. So
I think the biggest thing too is you can't, based off of how they performed last year, you can't just throw them straight into that playoff contender spot either.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think Jaden Sheridan's probably the second best running back in the FCS behind Isaiah Davis at
And
South Dakota
that's
State.
huge.
Yeah.
This is what I think my playoff contender team is. I think
Yeah.
UNH finishes top in the conference.
I agree.
There is a little bit of it's their time, and that's only because of what they've done in the years leading up to this, and they just happened to be ready when William and Mary was having a bit of a down year. So sometimes that's how it works out, and other times you're just caught in the shadow for forever. This time, I think they're going to be able to pop ahead.
All right, takes us to North Carolina A&T, the second newcomer of the conference.
They're adding Bryant next year, aren't they? Because you said they were adding one more.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense for Bryant than the Big South.
Yes, it does. But North Carolina A&T here, probably worth throwing in the not that bad.
I was debating not that bad versus tough out. It really depends for them. They have that.
Yeah, they have a couple of years where they're like good, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be this year. I don't know that they have the pieces in place to do that.
Yep. That's fair. I'm okay with not that bad. Like I said, I had them on the cusp.
I might put them ahead of Hampton, though.
That's fair.
What are you thinking, Bug?
I might put them ahead of Nova.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a little bit. I don't know. There's going to be a little bit of turnover with them coming from the Big South. They performed very well in the Big South last year.
Right.
I would put them in a tough out, honestly. Put them in right in between Elon and Delaware.
Not even bottom of the tough outs.
I got outvoted. That's all right with me. I think North Carolina A&T is one of those up and down between really good and not that bad, almost like every year. So the tough out's probably fine for them. Rhode Island this year.
For Rhodey, just looking at it, they've been on an upswing. Everything's pointing in the right direction for them. I'm putting them at the back end of really good. I would probably take William and Mary and Monmouth over them, but I still think I would take them over all three of those tough outs.
Yeah, I would definitely take Rhode Island over Elon, and I would take them over Delaware right now. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that positioning.
Even more in their favor, during the regular season, they only play New Hampshire in conference. They don't play Monmouth. They don't play William and Mary. And once you know it, they get New Hampshire at home in Rhode Island.
That's not as big of an advantage
favorable.
as you think it is.
It's a very favorable schedule either way. You don't have to go to New Hampshire to play the best team in the conference.
Let's put it this way. The Rhode Island High School Football State Championship, yes, we have one because, yes, there's more than one high school. I know it's hard to believe.
I don't believe that.
It doesn't compute. You have 17 citizens in the state.
We don't play that game at URI Stadium because it's not even the biggest football stadium in the state.
Right. The biggest football stadium in the state is the state. The state is 100 yards.
God damn it. So, that's New Hampshire at home, not a great advantage. It's good. I mean, it is an advantage, but.
All right, that leaves us one final team to put in the tier list here, which is the Richmond Spiders. This is on the edge of really good and tough out for me. Like, I do think they're probably better than Elon, but I would put them behind all three of the teams we have currently and really good.
Are we calling Elon the top of the tough out? Right? So that's why we can still move Elon.
Right.
Right? So is that our Mendoza line for this? Is Elon at tough out the Mendoza line? Because I'm sitting there, I agree with you. I'm leaning towards tough out for Richmond. I don't know that they get a playoff spot this year.
The CAA now, instead of the Mendoza line, we could just call it the Mason-Dixon.
They are south of that, so tough out.
Right, I know. What do you think? You got Bug too good with that one.
Bugs like, there it goes. Show's gone.
What
All right,
do you
let's
think
put 'em
about
in tough
Richmond this year,
out.
Bug? Tough out it is.
I
All right.
let's put them in tough out.
It's-
We're
They
He
end up
wasn't
ahead of
ready
Elon,
for
though.
that quick comeback.
And that's how we see the CAA playing out this year. Yeah, I feel pretty good about this tier list. Feels pretty solid to me.
I like this one.
the only one I'm a little hesitant on, and I know I'm the one that kind of pushed for it, but going with Monmouth in the really good category should shock people after the season they had last year.
I know.
But they're in a different rebuild position than William and Mary. Whereas William and Mary took a hit,
correct.
Monmouth definitely jumped up for it. So
Right.
I'm excited to see what exactly happens this year. I would love to be if we're gonna be right about any of these, I would love to be right about Monmouth more than anything.
Yeah.
I'm with you. And that does it for the CAA conference preview ahead of the 2023 college football season. This is our third of the FCS conference preview series, so stay tuned because we have 10 more of these suckers coming your way. If you're live with us, hang tight. We got one more to go tonight. If you're listening on audio or on YouTube, go find another one because we probably have another one somewhere.
The
And
distribution on these is going to be insane.
If Tug doesn't want to read you links, you can find them in the description. They are accessible at regularly located places. And I would rather that Tug read them to you, but
I will read them after the next one.
He's just being ornery. So it's what we got. But thank you very much, folks, for checking out the Big Dudes in the Trenches. We'll be back very shortly with another episode and another conference preview.